So instead we're going to move straight on and learn about the quantum body. So Swapnali, do you want to come on up? Again, everybody, big round of applause.
Hello. Am I audible? Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So, I was just thinking something that we live in an age where, performance is given credit. Hustle culture is encouraged, and burnout is almost like a badge of honor. And we hustle through all of that. We pull all-nighters, myself included, and we think that, oh, it's such a credit to do that. Oh, I did it all in one night. And we think that the body is going to recover later. But the truth is, body is not a machine. It cannot override again and again and again. And at some point, it is going to crash. So the thing is, it constantly responds to the environment that we are in. The more constant stress we put our body in, the more it would be stressed and more it would crash. So when we are looking into the wellness, we all look into the medicine of curing the symptoms. So what if the future of wellness is not about doing more to the body, but helping it repair, regulate, and rebalance? So that is what we are going to talk about in today's topic of the quantum body, where bioenergetics meets modern science. So before we dive into it, I'll just talk a brief about me. So my name is Swapnali and I am from India. I have my background not in tech, but in biotech. And I am a cancer researcher, and I've been doing cancer research for over 10 years now. And while I have been always very interested in the balance between holistic wellness and science, and that's how I decided to blend both of that and create my wellness brand that is called SoulSync Wellness, where I teach everything about nervous system regulation, breath work, meditation, and that is all I talk about it. And also, I work as a clinic technician at ACA Longevity Clinic at City Centre in Belfast. And what we do is a lot of cool longevity therapies, which I'm going to talk about in a while. So let's get into that. So a little bit about me, scientist as well. Right, so let's get into the contents of it. So we are going to talk about the energy currency, and we're going to talk about the bioenergetics and the regenerative wellness and how we regulate our nervous system. Now, if we remember I don't know if you remember anything from your high school, but I think we all do remember one thing, that is mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. But what we weren't actually taught is it is not just the powerhouse of the cell, it powers everything inside of our body. From the beating of your heart to the neurons firing inside your body, inside your brain, to your immune system fighting an infection, to your brain working, extra when you're thinking. And also every organ, system, tissues, cell at the energy level working all requires energy, and that is produced by the mitochondria. So let's look at it. What is the energy? It is called ATP. I wouldn't go into very sciencey details about that, but so it is very, very synonymous to the money. So just as money powers everything in our economy, without money you cannot buy, you cannot travel, you cannot do your nails, you cannot do anything. So similarly, in the body, it is the ATP. That is the energy currency. Your heart beats, you require ATP. You run, you require ATP. I'm talking, I require ATP. So every single system, every single task in our body requires energy transaction, and that is called the ATP, or adenosine triphosphate scientifically. Let's get into a little bit science. So I'm not going to tell you in much depth about the structures, biochemistry, scary sometimes. But this is the structure of ATP. So what happens is, do we have like a red pointer or something? This one? Yeah. That's fine. So this is the molecule of ATP. So what happens is when your body requires energy, this ATP is broken down into ADP and energy. And that energy is what is used to carry out all your tasks day-to-day lives. Now that ADP that you see there goes back into the mitochondria and it creates another ATP again. So it constantly regenerates your ATP in the body. Now, let's go into, the chronic fatigue, brain fog, burnout, chronic inflammation, feeling tired even after sleeping for long hours. We all complain of that. We may be technologically advancing quite a lot, but many people are more depleted than ever. Have you really thought about that? Why? Even though technologically we are going leaps and bounds, we have so much AI tech here, but is the body really doing well now? The answer is actually no, because of the chronic stress, the sleep cycle being messed up, that leads to the hidden energy crisis, which is impaired production of energy. So if there is impaired ATP or energy production, that leads to burnout, slow repair, and when there is slow repair, the inflammation in your body consists and it lingers over a longer period of time. Now, before we move on into the wellness technologies that we have, let us remember that in the end, managing your health is energy management. So where do we get this energy from? We know that mitochondria produces the energy, but in the end, it does come from our food. So it is very important that we are mindful of what we are consuming. So the food, it's broken into glucose, fatty acids, and so on and so forth, and micronutrients. So all of that travel into the mitochondria. And in the mitochondria, in the presence of oxygen, that is why oxygen is also very, very important, it creates ATP or your energy source, right? Now, what happens is when you're consuming over a period of time processed food, high fatty foods, that causes more of the oxidative stress that we are going to talk about. So what happens is when the mitochondria produces ATP, it also produces in the presence of oxygen something called free radicals that we talk about a lot in the anti-aging creams and everything to consume the antioxidants. So what happens is a few of the free radicals are very important for your health so that it keeps the inflammation in check, it keeps the cell signaling in check, and so on and so forth. But the problem occurs when there is an excessive reactive oxygen species or free radicals present. That leads to an imbalance in the normal signaling that we can see here. That causes the damage in DNA, that causes damage to your protein, and that causes damage to your mitochondria, which in turn over a period of time causes impaired ATP production that leads to less energy, leads to body producing less efficiency, and also accelerated aging process. Now, what happens is when the body is under chronic period of stress, the nervous system goes into a survival mode. So in this case, what happens is the blood flow is redirected to only the essential parts of your body, like your heart, your digestive system, your brain, in order to survive. That is why when you're very stressed, sometimes you don't feel like eating. And also it increases your inflammatory markers inside of your body. Now, what happens is in a short term, the inflammation is actually protective. But during a longer period of time, due to chronic stress, the inflammation and also the low energy production becomes very, very damaging to the body. Now, let's look into the regenerative wellness aspect. Now, your body is, whether we want to believe it or not, is an bioenergetic system. It is an amalgamation of biochemical, electrical, photonic, and magnetic system. Like every cell communicates through the electromagnetic signaling. Your neurons communicate through the electrical impulses. The heart generates measurable electromagnetic fields. And mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, moves the electrons in order to produce energy. So, now we move on to the regenerative wellness, which is up and coming. So what is it exactly? So regenerative wellness is going from inside out rather than just curing your symptoms. So when we are looking from inside out, we go to see the root cause of your issue rather than just curing the symptoms. So what happens is it works at three basic levels. That is the molecular level involving your DNA, your tissue level involving your blood, skin, bone, muscles, and at the cellular level focusing on structures which are responsible for your growth. Now, there are different types of therapies, different types of wellness, regenerative wellness. So some of them which I carry out in my clinic as well, and they are very up and coming. So the first one is the photobiomodulation or the red light therapy. We must have seen a lot of the Instagram memes where the girlies have the face mask, red face mask. That is the red light therapy. So how does it work? So it works at a wavelength of approximately 700 to 1000 nanometers. So it works at red and infrared lights. So what it does, it reduces, when we are using it over a period of time, it reduces the stress, the free radicals in your body. That in turn reduces the inflammatory markers and reduces the inflammation inside of our body. And in addition to that, it increases your collagen production and improves your blood circulation. So this is how a light bed actually looks like in a clinic if you are to go. So it has been clinically proven to in wound healing in patients with diabetes as well. Apart from that, for athletes who come for muscle recovery, cognitive performance, as well as chronic pain management. Next, we move on to the infrared sauna. Very fancy, very bougie. So we are aware of two different kinds of saunas, I think so. The one which is the dry steam, the rocks sauna, you have to put water on that. And the other one is your steam sauna. Both of them, what they do is they increase the surrounding temperatures to very high, around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. So, but infrared and far infrared, what they do is they penetrate deep inside your tissues. So when they are penetrating deep inside your tissues, they causes the water molecules inside your body to vibrate, and that in turn increases the kinetic energy. That leads to heat generation. So you're getting heated up from inside out rather than outside in. So when your body heats up from inside, you release a lot of toxins through sweat. So what it also does is it causes vasodilation, or it dilates the blood vessels, which helps in improving the blood circulation. Oxygen delivery is more faster and efficient, and also the nutrient transport as well. It also activates the metabolic responses, and it increases the heart rate. So if you are in an infrared sauna, you would have caloric expenditure and calorie burn as well. So that is also good for weight loss as well. Now, obviously, it also helps in mitochondrial stimulation. So when the mitochondrial stimulation is more, there is more ATP, and more ATP means more energy. And when there is more energy, we repair faster. Now, it also activates your rest mode. So most of the times we are in flight or fight mode, and that is a lot of stress mode. So what happens is when you are in your rest and digest mode, or the parasympathetic mode, the stress hormones like cortisol is reduced. That leads to muscle relaxation and also helps improved sleep. Now on to one of my favorite, which is the hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Now what is it? Hyperbaric, the name says it all. Hyper means more, baric is pressure. So high pressure oxygen chamber therapy. So it is a medical treatment that has been used by the doctors and in the hospitals since 1920s, 1940s. Now what happens is in this, it's like a chamber or like a submarine, as you can see in the image, and the person lies down and the pressure inside is increased, and the person breathes pure 100% oxygen in the pressurized chamber. So how does it work actually? So it follows Henry's law of physics, which says that the greater the amount of pressure, the greater the amount of gas that is dissolved in fluids. Now so the oxygen travels through the red blood cells in the hemoglobin. Now, as you can see here in the first diagram to your left, that because of a constriction, the blood is not able to transfer or go towards the damaged area towards the right side. But what happens is when you are in a high pressure oxygen chamber, it bypasses, the oxygen is dissolved directly into the yellow plasma liquid and it bypasses using the red blood cells. That means your body has more oxygen to repair and heal itself. Now, it helps the body by increasing the cellular energy, that is the ATP production, enhances wound healing, as in a lot of patients with diabetes as well. It stimulates the blood vessels, new blood vessel growth, and improves the circulation as well. Now, as much as we speak about all these wellness therapies, techniques, everything, but it all also comes down to nervous system regulation. All of these can provide support to you healing yourself, but in the end, if our nervous system is not healed, not repaired, you will always be in a state of stuck mode. You will always face some disease or other. So it is very important to have a balance between good proper nutrition, proper nervous system regulation, and also taking care of your health. Now, the nervous system, it usually is in either two states, like the flight or fight, where you're in a lot of stress hormones are there, or it's also in the rest and digest mode, where there are no stress hormones are relaxed and released, and you are functioning efficiently. Now, few of the ways how we can actually regulate our nervous system is what we actually don't pay attention to is breathing. We do breathe every single day, but have we actually focused on our breathing? No. Like, have we ever sat with ourselves and closed our eyes and just seen how we are breathing in and how we are breathing out? That is very important when it comes to nervous system regulation. Because when our breath is calm, that is how the nervous system gets regulated. Now, the future of regenerative wellness and this has a long way to go, because now with more advances in science, we are discovering how we can heal from inside out, healing the root cause and becoming more healthier versions of ourselves. Thank you. And do you have any questions?
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Oh, yep. Thank you for being close, Eve.
Hi, Swapnali. Brilliant talk.
Hi, thank you.
A question from me. So, on the likes of Instagram and TikTok, different social media platforms, we see influencers, perhaps with no scientific background like yourself, promoting all these different treatments. What tips would you give from your point of view on how to differentiate ineffective treatments from those that can actually help improve our health?
Well, I would say yes, the social media does play a big role these days with influencers promoting stuff, because they do often get free stuff as well. But my take would be to always do your own research before going to any of these treatments, therapies, whatever. Some are, or even call up the clinic and ask for their guidance, because they are the ones who are trained in that, so they can help you out. Do not blindly go and administer any wellness drugs or treatments or therapies without seeking proper clinical guidance from somebody. Sometimes it can be very misleading and can cause discrepancies as well and cause malpractices as well. So yeah.
Great. Any others? No, I think that's us. Thank you very much.